Josh, how you doing?
All right, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic. I just walked in here, so I heard the music. Manga Chat, let's go.
And we always get one right away. I would love to know who that one is.
There's one viewer? Wow, what a
I'd love to know
loser.
that. There's one person who's just like waiting, and the second we go live, they're just in there.
Who is this unemployed saddo?
Tell us who you are in the comments.
Well, they're watching like a depressing midday movie right now, and then suddenly like, oh, Manga Chat. Oh, this
Yeah, they got
slightly more exciting.
Jeremy Kyle on, and they're a bit more interesting than Jeremy Kyle. They've decided it's Al.
It's Al. Do they still have Jeremy Kyle?
I don't know. I think he got he was in some big scandal not long ago, I think. But yeah, he's still. I think he's still going.
Oh, okay. I mean, Springer passed away last year, the year before, I think, the pioneer of that stuff. I love those shows. Donahue, Ricky Lake, all of them. Maury Povich, classic. Jenny Jones. Oof.
Did you watch that documentary about the Jenny Jones murderer? I think it was about all the different daytime chat shows, but the Jenny Jones murderer, that was a big one.
I didn't know. Please inform me.
Well, there was like a Jenny Jones episode. I think it was one of those kind of like, why don't you love me type episodes, and he murdered the woman who was in love. I might be misremembering, but it's definitely a Jenny Jones murder.
No, it's depressing, Josh. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a sunny Thursday. It's a bit cloudy here actually, out in the
nice
deserts, at the deserts of California. It's nice there in Philly.
Yeah, like perfect temperature. I've been walking around. It's pretty nice.
Great day for some trank or some fentanyl. Enjoy.
Yeah. It's t-shirt weather, but it's trouser weather. There's no shorts, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, here we are, Manga Chat on this Thursday. Let's start with a plug, Josh. Let's start with a sleazy plug for our Werewolf Jones and Sons book. It's only been out for about 8 weeks from Fantagraphics. Yeah. Where can you get this, Josh?
You can get this at Fantagraphics website, the Amazon website, thrift
bookstores, small bookstores, local bookstores.
Yeah. You can get
Partners and Sons in Philly.
Yeah.
Secret headquarters in Los Angeles. All the big ones. Where?
Thriftbooks.com.
Yeah, there's probably a lot on thrift books. It's been poorly received, so there's probably quite a few on thrift books or secondhand. You probably find them in trash cans if you walk around the city. It's out. I was reading this last night, Josh, and I was cracking up. There's been a lot of bad reviews, but I was reading. I was like, you're all a bunch of fuckheads. This is great. I really enjoyed it. I really loved it.
Nice. Yeah.
Get out, pick that up, like and subscribe, hit the bell for notification, leave us some comments down there. Let us know what you're reading. Let us know how we're failing you, what comics you're reading, who's more handsome between me and Josh, whatever you want to talk about. Just please, for the love of God, give us some engagement. And we do thank you for watching. So let's get into it today, Josh. I dared you. Actually, first, we were supposed to have a guest, but our guest has had to reschedule. Big guest had to reschedule next week. So, Josh, over the weekend, I fucking dared you. I looked you in the fucking eyes and I dared you to pick 3 formative books from when you were younger and you first got into alternative comics. And this stuff set you on your path. And it's the stuff that holds up as something that you like. I did the same thing. Yeah? And you were up to the challenge.
Yeah. I got 4 books. So you told me you had 4. So I've gone and got a Wildcard book. But yeah, I have 3 books and then one kind of like that's tied.
Yeah. There was a 4th I had to add in. I was like, I can't not add this. So we'll have our 4th, tie book. So all right, let's go. Let's reveal our first picks. So these are our formative works that we loved when we were younger. So I've gone Pete Bagg, number 1, the Hate series. And you've got David Boring by Clowes there.
Yeah, which wasn't the first. I was thinking about should I pick the first book that I got into his, which would have been Pussy. Yeah. But I haven't read that. That's probably the Clowes book that I reread the least. I probably won't read it again anytime soon. This is the one. I think this is the second book I bought by Clowes, and this is the one that I read probably once a year at least.
Really?
Yeah.
It is a classic. I read it when it was serialized as 8-ball 19 through 21. Oversized, suddenly became a magazine size. I think 98 or 99. I found it. The first issue, the first one, an iconic cover of David hugging the girl with a tornado in the background with a yellow border. And I saw it in the comic shop. I was on a trip to Melbourne and I was like, oh, new 8-ball. And it was mind blowing. Yeah.
I'm jealous of that experience. I got into comics later. I was probably like 24 when I got this from Forbidden Planet in London. We didn't have a comic book shop on the Isle of Wight, so so it wasn't until I went away to uni that I went into Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet, I only remember, like, I only went in there because I remember them from the Simpsons comics. Was there always a Forbidden Planet ad in the Simpsons comics that you would get?
Probably not, because you probably had like we had Otter Press doing like some Australian imprint printing the Bongo comics. You could get the direct market ones from a posh comic shop in Tasmania, but on the newsstands it was Otter Press. So you probably had some British version and local ads.
The British one was like magazine size, and I guess I saw the Forbidden Planet shop in London. I just recognized it from. I was like, oh, that's the one from comics. I think every single issue I think had a Forbidden Planet ad actually, but I went in Forbidden Planet. I got Pussy, which I enjoyed.
You did. I bet you got Pussy out of the Forbidden Planet, Josh.
Yeah, in the anime figurine section. It was like
Sorry.
I'd say like so Pussy was more like that was the book that got me into like indie comics, but this is the one for me.
I went bag, which is interesting because when I was reading this stuff like 95, 96 and getting really into it when I was like 13, 14, 15, Pete Bagg, Dan Clowes were like they did the Hate Ball tour I think in 93. Like they were kind of two sides of a coin. Like with Fantagraphics it was like you're a Clowes man and you're a Bagg man, or you just like both of them. But I chose this. So when I was first getting into comics, I loved Clowes, but it seemed more cerebral and erudite, and this was goofy and silly and fucked up and sex and drugs and rock and roll. And as a 14-year-old, it really hit me, and I loved it. Found it more easy to read and more of an easy gateway than the more sort of Lynchian territory of Clowes at the time. And this is I did want to bring in the full 30-issue stack of Hate, but I've just bought, for convenience sake, this collected Buddy Does Seattle, which is the first 15 issues of Hate. This is my wife's copy. It's covered in some kind of animal shit, which is funny because the copy of this I borrowed when I was a kid, I think it was a different printing, that was also covered in cat shit. But I didn't care because the book was so page turny, and love this stuff. Like Buddy Bradley and his crazy girlfriend Lisa, and just like Seattle grunge scene, just like people in share houses, young people just bashing together, and junkies, and it was just really fucking fun.
I got into that one actually through the floppies at the Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois. They have an antique mall, and they had at the antique mall like the complete run of the Hate floppies, and I got into it through that. And, that was like a favorite at the time. You did. I don't revisit often, but it's that was.
Yeah, I've not read it for a long time as well. I've not revisited it. I know there was a smeary article in Seattle by some posh cunt trying to paint Pete Bagg as some like regressive racist or something. So fuck off, you prick. You know the kind of article I'm talking about. But, it was it's frustrating because maybe the work's dated a bit. I mean, it's from 30 years ago. It's about the grunge scene in Seattle in the early 90s, but it's fucking great stuff. Very human work, full of life. I love that. I think issue 12, they're at the Collectors Fair. Classic issue where Buddy's like flipping old stuff at the Collectors Fair, the flea market. It's so good. It really meant a lot to me. It still does. I've met Pete Bagg a few times and hung out with him. He's a lovely guy. Got to ask him lots of nerdy questions, and I hope he might come back to Buddy. I think I hear he was doing like an autobiography about his like weirdo years when he was editing Weirdo and like hanging out Kurtzman and like his life autobio. But I think he put the kibosh on it. He scrapped it maybe, and now he's working on maybe more Buddy stuff. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. The later stuff, the Hate Annual stuff was collected, and he's kind of really sloppily drawing. Like, this is all cross-hatched, and he's really, he's making an effort and stuff. But the later stuff, he stripped it back. But we all get older. I'm stripping back my stuff a bit and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I got into them at similar times. Hate and this Cloud stuff. I think I was just more drawn to the Cloud stuff because I was like, I had an idea that I was gonna make like more high concept kind of like arty art, So it was that was a bit more appealing to me. But yeah, they were fun, those comics, those Hate. You ever seen Glory Days?
Glory Days?
The Ben Affleck movie.
I haven't.
It's like it's pre-Good Will Hunting. It's like a small like indie movie, I think, with like Sam Rockwell about college, and he's wearing a Hate T-shirt, Ben Affleck, and he goes into a grocery store, and like the guy behind the counter is like, "You look so edgy in that shirt," and he's like, "It's a comic book, dude."
Yeah. I was just reading in the intro. Everett True, the music writer, has got an intro, and it's like they're hanging out with Larry Reed from the Fanta store, like back in the '90s, and he's wearing the hat that says "Hate," and this angry woman at a car rental place is like, "And what does that mean?" And he's like, "Chill, it's a comic book," and just like move the fuck on. But yeah, wearing a hat that says, I like hate, and I hate everything else. So, it's sort of that big hate logo. It's a provocative title, but. Yeah, I think Pete said in the intro, like it kind of became more provocative. Like when he did it was kind of like just, haha, and
Yeah.
But it became, things politically started to ramp up, and it became more of a loaded word. Yeah, great stuff. I love David Boring as well. I mean, it was very difficult to, should we go to our second picks maybe?
You want to go to second pick?
If you want to, unless you got more to say about old Davy Boring.
Nothing hasn't already been said. It's just, I think besides possibly the new one, I think it's probably my second favorite, maybe, Klaus.
After Monica, really? Monica's taken its place. Yeah, I think Monica's my favorite Klaus book right now, at least. Can't wait for people to read it and talk about it and stuff. It's October 12th or something, I think Monica comes out from Fantagraphics, the Klaus, new Klaus. It's Josh and I've read it. It's fucking great. It really is. Undeniably brilliant.
Oh shit! Yeah.
But kids need to give Pete Bagg a go. I feel like he's spent the last few years doing those like lady biographies, like the Margaret Sanger, Zora Neale Hurston. Just a story about some girl walking up to the drawing a quarterly table and like, why did you choose this white cis man to draw the Zora Neale Hurston biography? It's like, well, he wasn't chosen. He just wanted to do it. It's his pet project. Like he wasn't assigned. But he's, I don't know. I haven't read any of those books. I got them on the shelf, but it's just like, I don't really want to read like a weird, rubbery, kind of spastic looking, biography. I just want to read, this. And
how do you feel about the Reset and Apocalypse Nerd and those ones?
They're okay. They're okay. I just, Buddy Bradley was his thing. That's what I fear. Like, I just do Meg and Mog, and I fear if I did something else. I've written some stuff recently. I was trying to write screenplays, and I've got all these ideas generated, just like, human characters or whatever, and like relationship stuff and different stuff, sci-fi, whatever. But I just feel like, is it a bit mid, maybe? Like, I've got some really good Meg and Mog material that I'm holding on to, and, great stuff to explore, and I'm not out of gas yet. I have fallen off and done 2 shit books in a row, but I'm on the come up. I'm fucking coming. Went down. I'm coming up.
Well, where will the zombies? Where do you think that stands in? Is that in the shit category or the good category?
No, it's in the good category. It's going to work in tandem with Meg's Coven. I think they'll really inform each other. If I can start spinning the plates and get Meg's Coven chapters coming out in between Zombies chapters, those works will inform each other and kind of work in tandem and in a certain way. No spoilers, but I think I'm enjoying the Zombies thing. It's fun. It's good. The second issue I think is all right. And third one's going to be incredible. And I'm looking at all my Meg's Coven notes currently. I got to start writing it properly and really get it going, chapter by chapter. And it's going to be fucking banging. Anyway, pick number 2, Josh. Let's reveal them. Oh, damn! Is that the Dogs of Mars one?
Yeah, this is my probably Should I talk about this? Is the Acme Novelty Library, issue 19, which has, I think, two of Chris Ware's best stories, which is Seeing Eye Dogs on Mars, which is my favorite Chris Ware. This was one of the early comics. I think this was, I think I read Jimmy Corrigan and like really struggled with it, but you know, obviously it's a brilliant masterpiece or whatever, but I still struggle with it. And then so I tried this one, and it's so much more accessible. It's easy to read. It's more fun. It's for an idiot like me, this is definitely more. This is like the top tier Chris Ware.
I do remember enjoying that. I think I read it in like 2011 or something. I was in London at the time. I do remember enjoying it and finding it pretty good. But I haven't read it since then in like over a decade.
No, there's like, so the Seeing Eye Dogs on Mars, which is like this depressing sci-fi story. It's like, that's probably my favorite Ware. But it also has this second story, which is Youth. What's it called? Youth and Middle Age. Like this, like sad, depressing story here. I fucking love this one. It's so funny and sad and bleak. It's just like,
well, isn't that Young? That's Rusty Brown's father, Young, and he's a sci-fi writer. Like the Dogs of Mars thing. That's like his sci-fi story, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, they interlink like that. But I actually haven't read Rusty Brown yet. I've just read like this of it. Well, I read
really,
pieces, but this, I like this standalone. I like this just by itself. It's
yeah.
great.
I mean, Chris Ware's on. He is on. I mean, popping off.
Yeah.
I think my first Acme Novelty Library back in the day was number 4. I think the big Cathead one, and then those big joke books came out, like the big giant book of jokes, and just all the little ones, and it was just And then he started doing those hardback kind of ones, and crazy. I mean, back in the 90s, I mean, that was just blowing people's fucking minds. Like, to me, as a like 13, 14-year-old, it's all well and good to look at like Bag and Clowes, but then like Chris Ware was on another fucking level.
Yeah.
Where's this book of jokes over here? Like, this thing, like, it's huge. Like, here's a regular size comic, and then book of jokes was this big, and so you got the big, like, all the shit you can make, and then this was a comedy one. This was Big Tex, the comedy cowboy character, and just the layout and the design of this stuff, all the little texts, and just the jokes in there, the self-deprecation, just absolutely fucking, just beautiful fucking stuff. mind blowing.
The funny thing, I drew Goiter 1, issue 1, while I was kind of like, I just broken up with somebody. I moved into this apartment, like I didn't have anything except like a bed and my books, and so I drew the whole thing using Quimby the mouse as a table. The thing's fucking massive, and I just sat on my bed and used that as a desk.
It'd work.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's just
insane.
Absolutely beautiful.
You take it for granted, like it's just like Chris Ware is just there, but then you just look through this stuff, and it's some of the most visually beautiful comics ever. Really, it's just.
I got to say, I miss the funny stuff. Like there's old Rusty Brown strips where they're talking about trying to get laid at like a con, and like Rusty Brown lies to Chalky White, and he's like, he goes off and he's pretending to have sex. He's like, how long would it really take to fuck someone? And comes back and like, she's going to be walking funny for a week. And Chalky White's like, wow, so impressed. But I don't know. But now I don't know.
But he is funny. Like, that's something you don't think about him being funny. But like this is the one I showed before. But this where he's like waiting for a girl to come to his house, and he's like, his arms are up there so he doesn't so his shirt doesn't touch his armpits. It's fucking hilarious.
That's so good. That's so up your fucking alley as well. I can see it's like the writer of Tedwood, like something like that. Like that's so up your alley. Yeah, formative work then for a young Josh Pettinger there.
Yeah.
Well, I've done Clowes as my second pick. It was such a tough choice between the hate ball combo of hate and 8-ball, Bag or Clowes, but I went Bag in number 1 because I legit just loved those more accessible, Simpsons with drugs kind of comedy But 8-ball was always there as like the smarter kind of more more artsy version, and all the short stories. But yeah, the whole run of 8 Ball, that's what I pick. And again, for convenience's sake, I've just carried in from the living room this collected paperback of the first 18 issues of 8 Ball, which is currently available from Fantagraphics Books, and does have a quote on the back by me, Simon HANSELMANN, which is, cool for me. When I was like 13, 14, whatever, reading this shit, I love Klaus. He's one of the greatest living cartoonists. This new book moniker is fucking incredible. So, my name's on the back. He lettered my name and allowed me to have a quote on the back. That's so fucking cool for me as a kid, telling the kid in Tasmania, like, hey, little buddy, in the future. There's brilliant.
Like a fake autobio story you could write about, like in time travel and accidentally slipping into the future and seeing that, and
Well, it's kind of like Doctor Who, the Van Gogh episode in the Matt Smith era. The Van Gogh, or whatever how you pronounce it, they bring him to the future. He's all sad, and they bring him to the big retrospective, and he's just walking around, like, and seeing that hundreds of years in the future or whatever, he's respected, and he's weeping, and it's quite beautiful. It's quite moving. I actually cried in that episode. Fun fact. So anyway, complete 8 Ball. You got Velvet Glove in here. You got Ghost World.
I think because it's like because I didn't read them as floppies, I bought them as books. I really just think of, like, books, David Boring, Velvet Glove, Ghost World. I don't, So at first I did think I felt like it was cheating a bit, just getting the collected 8 Ball, because that's it's half the books. But it's like, I don't know. I guess I never think of it in terms of 8 Ball. I just think of, like, the books. But
yeah, I read the floppies as they were coming out. I mean, I caught the tail end of it. Like 8 Ball 17 was like my first one, and then he wrapped up the classic sort of 8 Ball at 18 with the end of Ghost World, and then it was the oversized David Borings. And then what he did, what's it called? What's the one? Winter Ice Haven, and then the Death Ray, and that was it. That was the big, even more oversized 8 Ball 23, 24. Anyway, but yeah, like a Wee Joe. Oh my fucking god, Blue Italian shit and Like a Wee Joe. Oh, that this summer, kid at summer story. Just I used to go away with my buddy Luke to, like, their beach house, and we'd spend these weird, lonely, pre-internet kid summers, and just longing and romance and fires, and just breaking into the scout hall, and our friend did a poo in there, and just all that fun stuff. But this captures it. This Like a Wee Joe story. Just Ghost was amazing, obviously, and this pick encompasses David Boring as well. So I got you there. I mean, my pick is everything. Oh, modern cartoonist lurking in there. That little.
I love that. I've seen people get upset about. I've seen people on Twitter get upset about that, because it's very matter of fact. It's it's like it's like it's quite. I think it says some stuff in there about how you. Like how hard you have to work, or how obsessed you have to be, like, to make it as a cartoonist or whatever,
not the truth. Oh, not reality, Josh. Oh no. Oh mercy, I'm feeling the vapors. I think it's all facetious. Dan claims he's not reread it since he wrote it, and it's probably true. Brilliant. McLeod's obviously, like, these are obvious picks. I feel like, these are very obvious picks, but
I have one that's not obvious that's coming up.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine are all obvious. But, these are our formative works. This is just honestly, like, the comics that we loved the most. And, these are, anyway, obvious picks. What's the third one, Josh? Should we reveal them?
Should we do 4? Since we both have 4.
Yeah, but we'll call the fourth, like, I think the tie one, or like the, we had to, we couldn't just pick 3. But I did try to pick a core 3. It was challenging.
All right.
What's pick number 3? Oh, a bit of Seth. I got Jim Woodring.
Nice.
Yeah, go Seth. It's a good life if you don't weaken.
Yeah, this is something about this book feels different. It feels like a novel. It doesn't feel like a comic. It's like, I don't know if that's just the shape of the book, but it's
it tricked you.
It's like a real book, I can be on the subway and no one will know I'm a comic. It's a comic. But Yeah, no, this one was just. I remember like this was the first introduction to like the Seth, Chester, Joe, Matt trio.
Really? Before Joe or Chester, you got onto the Seth?
Yeah, I think I got this at Halfway's Books, and it was like it just made me want to draw snow and trees. It's just like this is just fucking this like snowy, beautiful book.
I'm going to admit, I haven't read all of A Good Life.
Really?
I think I've read like the first couple of chapters. I have like a spotty collection of Palookaville floppies.
Yeah.
And I think I have the collected fucking that what is it, Good Life on the shelf. But yeah, I've never delved into the whole thing. One of my blind spots. I've not read all the Clyde fans either. I've read, I'm patchy. I love Seth. I read stuff from all over, but yeah, never read the whole thing. Oh, how embarrassing.
Yeah, it's another one I read maybe like once every 2 years or something. I remember the last time feeling it's a bit poncy, but yes.
I was just reading the new Palookaville, the second last new one.
I went to Partners and Son, and Tom was telling me like he'd just read it in the store, and he was saying it was like the best one in a long time. He said he loved it.
Nice. Yeah, I was just reading bits and bobs in there, some of the short stories, and I was enjoying it. It's good. He's great, man.
Yeah.
I have a great story about getting drunk with Seth once, but I won't tell it. But, yeah, he's a lovely guy. He really is a lovely guy. Yeah, it's sad. Joe's gone now. It's just Seth and Chester left of the Toronto Three.
Yeah.
I think Seth's in good health, happily married. He seems to be chugging along. He just got that big like key to the city or some knighthood, some Canadian knighthood or something. And Chester seems to be chugging along too.
I would like. Have you ever seen? I think they had it in a Palookaville. His wife's bar, his wife's like hair salon or whatever that has all like it's designed by Seth, so everything's like very Seth.
Yeah, it's nice.
It'd be nice to get a haircut there.
It would. We should go up to Guelph, or you and I. We should do a trip to Guelph and buy Seth dinner and get a haircut by his wife in a stylish environment in a well-designed barber shop. Yeah. But yeah, I've got Jimmy Woods. Yeah, this blew my fucking mind when I was a kid. It's wordless. If you don't know the Jim Woodring Frank stuff, he does other stuff. It was hard to pick this. I really love the autobiographical dream comics of Jim, where it's just like a bearded hippie man having bizarre dream adventures. And there's also the Big Red the Cat and Polk, like who's the spirit of drunkenness. Many other characters, but the big breakout thing was Frank, this little anthropomorph who lives in the Unifactor with Pupshaw and Pushpaw. I've got it tattooed on there. My wife's got the Pupshaw and I've got the Pushpaw there. We love Jim Woodring. I did read after we got these that he doesn't like people getting tattoos of his art.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, this painted stuff, when I was a kid, like this is Frank and the River, an absolute classic. And there's one in here where Manhog, this character, he starts tripping, he hits his head and he's tripping and he finds this shed and he shaves his leg off, like he starts skinning it and it paints it silver to match this like broken bowling trophy. But a haunting scene, incredibly disgusting, and yeah, just these bizarre animals and having these insane adventures in the Unifactor through. Jim, I think he said he used to go down to like a weird quarry and kind of sit there and kind of just tap into the Unifactor, and the stories kind of wrote themselves, and they're very spiritual. And oh my God, look at that splash panel back there. The way Jim draws trees. And like his oil paintings are incredible. He's a true master.
Mm-hmm.
Really, have you read much Frank, Josh? Have you gotten into it?
I haven't read that one. I'm trying to remember the names of the books I have, but I think I've read like 2 Woodring books, but it is a bit of a blind spot.
Yeah, I've read it all. I just saw someone in the comments actually said, "Did you like One Beautiful Spring Day?" And that is the newest Jim Woodring book. Again, Fantagraphics. One Beautiful Spring Day. I've not read it completely because it comprises 3 books. It's Weathercraft. What was the second one? Congress of the Animals and Fran. And I think Congress of the Animals, another one. I think it's 4 books mashed up with a bunch of new material inserted as well. Is that Boris? Is that Boris Johnson?
Yeah. I put this one up because I did get to see a few Jim Woodring originals at Comic-Con.
Yes.
And they're fucking insane. They're like, they're inhuman. There's like,
yeah, that black and white graphite shit. Fucking hell.
At all. It's like all the blacks are perfectly black. It's just, yeah, insane.
But I've not read One Beautiful Spring Day because it's a composite of all these other 4 books built into a new thing with like 100 pages or something of new material wrapping around. But it's a big undertaking. It's like, it's big, thick phone book, 400 pages. Frank book's more accessible for a new reader. If you're a young cartoonist, and you're like, oh, Jim Woodring, I might check that out. The Frank book, which I think is still in print, or you could get on eBay. It's chock full of stuff, but it's all different stuff. It's all color stuff, black and white stuff. You could read it in little chunks. It's not too overwhelming, and really some of the finest, most masterful cartooning that fucking exists. I think there's a quote in the front of this, or a 4-word introduction by Francis Ford Coppola. Like, it's shocking the lack of sales for these books, like because they're wordless. They're so. Like, I think some of the best art produced in any medium ever throughout history. Like Jim Woodring is a fucking master. I've had the honor of hanging out with him, of fucking interviewing him on stage at some museum in Seattle. It was terrifying for me to interview this man. I've been bitten by a spider the night before. I felt delirious. I think the interview went all right, and it was like interviewing one of your heroes. But he was so nice during the interview and so great. Because he's a weird man. He's famous for all these visions he'd have. Like, his work is so otherworldly. But he says when he grew up, he'd see all these like floating bits of meat, and just his interviews are incredibly entertaining. He was an alcoholic garbage man for many years, just like a blackout drunk garbage man. Yeah, he's got some fucking stories. Really interesting stuff. Yeah, highly fucking recommended. Like, yeah, Josh, you need to get onto more.
I'll get that one. Is that the one? Somebody here says, like, somebody here asked me, what books would you recommend, like, starting with? So,
I think the Frank book, because it's like, as I said, it's got the color stuff, it's got the black and white stuff. It's a great mix. I mean, you've got the later books when he started doing the graphic novels, the Weathercraft, whatever, and they're all collected in One Spring Day with additional stuff. But yeah, they're all good. You cannot go wrong. And there's no massive major chronology or continuity. You just pick them up, and like, it's this otherworldly trip. It's like taking drugs without taking drugs, and it's truly some of the most transcendental, incredible comics work out there. Check it out. Yeah.
Woodring, John.
All right, so that was our 3 picks. My picks were Woodring, Clowes, and Bag. They were my favorite, most formative shit, I think, when I was a little teenager.
Clowes, Where,
Seth, what a fucking sausage fest. But we are blokes of a certain age, grew up in the 90s, 2000s, and, I read Julie Doucette, I read Dame Darcy, I loved all that stuff. But the stuff that really fucking hit for me was this stuff that we just talked about.
Speaking of white men, should we pick our last book?
Yes, I also have another white man for my 4th pick, the thing that I just couldn't not include. It was so hard. What have you got? Let's hold them up.
Well, I feel like I should preface mine by saying this. It's a very small book. It's really new, so it's a bit like embarrassing. It's this influential on me, but
I think I can see what it is. It's the Blobby Boys.
Yeah, this was just at a certain time when I was like getting into comics. This was just, you got Black Hole, yeah.
I've got the original 12-issue run of Black Hole by Charles fucking Burns. Burns Notice. Burning down the house. I love Alex Schubert. Alex Schubert is great. I'm going to get my stack of Schubert work. Talk about Schubert.
Well, this is just like, I think this is like the first comic I got. I felt like that this is cool. There was something cool about it, and there's also like the stories are like so simple. It's kind of like the Seinfeld show about nothing. This is a book about nothing.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's just like, let's start a band. Someone gets stabbed. Fashion Cat stuff I love. There's something like the Fashion Cat one makes me laugh more than it should. It's it's just pure fun. These are like just fun comics.
They are very fun. That's the first issue of the Blobby Boys there from Radical Fortress. He ripped me off. Took a bunch of my money, fucker. But 2 original Blobby Boys collections there from Koyama Press. You can probably get on eBay. There's the one that you've got there, Josh. This one here, you've got that one. I drive this French version of the Blobby Boys from Misma, which is
I went into Family Bookstore in LA, and I accidentally I brought that to the counter and then realized it was in French, and so I didn't buy it, but I regret it because it came with a little zine.
And there's me. I'm fucking in there. That's me and Michael DeForge and Patrick Kyle portrayed as a tiny person on Michael's back. Yeah, this wasn't collected in the Koyama books. I don't know. Annie didn't collect everything, and so you can only get the one with me in French. But me and Alex had like a fake rivalry for I was all like Aussie, and he was like USA. Yeah. He famously or infamously once didn't send me a book I'd ordered from him and just sent me a piece of paper that said USA. And I was like, that's taking it a bit fucking far because I did order the book and paid for the shipping, and I want my fucking book. And I think I got it at Comic Arts Brooklyn. Like, give me my fucking book. Yeah, lovely guy. I wish he'd not been sucked up by the animation world. Yeah. Unfortunately, nothing he's worked on seems to have come to fruition. I think he's like a coal miner at Disney or something. But yeah, he was developing a Blobby Boys project, which looked fucking incredible, but it doesn't seem to have come to fruition.
Yeah, this is one that would actually be perfect for animation, but I guess it's not. And
it's hard to get it going. Don't know. It was all 3D. The cartoon he was working on, like really beautiful, Glander-esque 3D shit.
I think I've seen like little things of that.
Yeah, lovely cartoonist and really inventive sort of stuff going on. But yeah, I really would have loved to have seen him develop his writing more and start, do some longer stories, and because he's very funny. And yeah, Schubert, he's great, one of the modern greats. Hopefully he'll come crawling back to comics. I think a year ago or so, me and him were chatting back and forth about TV stuff, and when I was in the TV mines for a while, and I think he was saying like, yeah, maybe I'll come back to comics. So, please do.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of money in it. There is in comics, but you have to fucking hustle. Like you and I are constantly drawing, constantly working, constantly hyping. Like you can't just draw comics in a vacuum. You have to do press stuff and market yourself, and it can be hard to do. It's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to succeed. You have to really fucking push the pedal to the fucking metal and not take it off. Ooh, white knuckle. But it's a choice you make. It's a choice you make as a human being.
Yeah, so you have
if you're capable of doing it.
So you have Black Hole as your fourth pick.
Yeah, I don't have the collected one. I've only got the original floppies. Started coming out from Kitchen Sink, and then I think
copies of. I just have the book. And is there like letters and pages, or like is there anything extra?
I think the first issue has a letters page. Yes, or the first issue has some high school drawings of Charles Burns's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff for high school. I mean, Burns is incredibly talented. No one's ever said that he can't draw. I think the second issue did actually have, the second issue has a letters page, and then after that, just silence. Like, don't need any of that noise, just the work, and just see. It's the covers for me. Like the collected edition doesn't have all these covers, which are just, absolutely fucking amazing. This one was iconic when I was a kid. Such a sexy character. This episode where Keith, the main guy in it, goes to this weird drug house and this woman's there. There's the tail that does all the paintings downstairs, and they have the sandwiches. Just absolutely incredible. But yeah, Kitchen Sink for the first 4 issues, and then Fantagraphics took over with issue 5 and did it up until 12. And these used to come out sort of every year, usually around Christmas for me. And it was a massive event for me and all my friends. Like, I remember one Boxing Day, like the comic shop was open and the new fucking Black Hole was there. So I don't remember what issue. I was in Launceston, Tasmania. I was like fucking 18 or something. But yeah, every year it was just like this fucking transmission from another fucking world. Just this.
Yeah. We should do a Charles Burns zine episode one day. Do you have this?
Of course.
Yeah. I was looking at this the other day, and it's fucking so fun.
Yeah, I got them all pretty much except for Facetasm, the flippy Facebook with Gary Panter. I've never been able to find that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Hole is just it's just unimpeachably good. I mean, it's just it's fucking brilliant. where is it? What's it in the third issue? Is this number 3? I think. Where are the numbers? They don't have numbers on them. Yeah, number 3. There it is. I think it's this one. There's another. But anyway, the Planet Xeno one, where Keith's hanging out with his drug buddies, and I got to hang out with Charles and like the 2 guys that like those characters were based on. Yeah, it was huge for me. I mean, as a nerd, I mean, it's embarrassing if like Charles watches this, but that was such a fun thing to just see Charles with his 2 like mates from when he was our age or younger, or much younger. I mean, I'm 40 now. When he was in his 20s, and his drug buddies, hanging around in the woods. It's cool for me living in Seattle for 6 years or whatever as well, because that's where Black Hole was set. So it felt like living in Black Hole, especially with all the homeless stuff going on. It's, very Black Hole-ish.
Yeah. That would have been. I think I'm not sure why I didn't even choose that book. But yeah, that was like formative for me. The book version, and yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, sexy stuff.
Yeah,
the shading. I mean, most people know Charles Burns. I mean, he's one of the ubiquitous kind of. Very excited for his new book, Maze, I think is the English translation. Yeah. He has 2 big, thick volumes out in France that have not come out in the US. I believe Pantheon is waiting to collect it all when the 3 books are done. But it's killing me that there's like, I don't know, a couple of 100 pages of new Burns work out there that I've not read.
Yeah.
I just posted on Instagram in my stories the other day a nice picture of his, just this beautiful sky and this woman walking along all these rocks, and just absolutely stunning. Just absolutely fucking stunning. But yeah, hugely influential for me. It's just, this is where I was hanging out as well. I mean, that's just looks like me and my buddies. I was like 14, hanging out with all these 21-year-olds, getting baked and watching Twin Peaks and reading all this stuff, and that just evokes so much for me.
I will brag and say I have seen the entirety of the original art for the new one.
That's so. Oh, really? Oh, because you went to Charles' studio and hung out, so you got to see the pages.
Yeah, insane, beautiful stuff.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, I got to see a bunch of his originals at Alvin's house back in the day, and yeah, amazing stuff. I mean,
Ethan says Black Hole was a big deal to 13-year-old me, so he enjoyed reading that last year.
Nice. You also read it when you were 13. Oh, did you say last year? Did you just make a joke about he's 20 or something? Come on. Stop teasing children, Josh.
We'll have Ethan on soon. He's
100%.
Yeah.
He looked like he had a whirlwind trip over to Berlin and stuff. He was hanging out with all the cool places, with all the cool people, your Hellsus kinds and etc. I can't find that Planet Xeno story. I've been flipping through the first 5 issues trying to find the Planet Xeno, one of my favorite chapters, where they're up getting stoned in the woods, but can't find it. But yeah, if you can, don't buy the Pantheon one. I'd recommend tracking down the floppies. I don't know how much these go for on eBay, but I never bothered to buy the book collection because it doesn't have the front and back covers. Yeah, just never bothered. I don't know if it has all these end papers as well, just like these beautiful fucking end papers.
I thought it does have the covers, doesn't it? No, it
doesn't have all the color covers.
No, not color, but
all these lovely end papers and yeah. Anyway, fucking incredible, absolutely fucking incredible.
Yeah,
and cheating as well, but also like Joe Matt was massively formative. We did a big Joe Matt chat the other day, sadly memorial Matt chat.
Since then,
Joe, massive.
I went over to the secret bookstore near me that has all this cool stuff, and they had these 5 episodes of the Peep Show. So these are ones I didn't have, and yeah, I've been reading the letters pages on these, and just like I was like surprised there was one from Ryan Carey in issue 2, I think.
I saw that. Yeah, Ryan J. Carey. Yeah,
he's been around.
He's a confusing chap. He's always contradicting himself and just like almost getting to a correct decision or something, or just nah. He's an interesting critic, that one. It's all behind a paywall. Don't read his stuff anymore, so I'm not paying for that.
Reviewing my stuff, like I think he does this thing where he won't review things if he pays for it. He only reviews things that are sent to him, and then he's one of the first people who buys my stuff. It's like, don't buy it. He reviewed it, mate. I'll send it for free. But
you don't need him reviewing it. He'll just call you a racist or something, Josh.
Yeah.
Like he did to Tomine, basically.
Speaking of working on the newest, what I call a thinly veiled dog whistle.
Yeah, I thought we should start the show one day, like blowing some dog whistles. It'd be quite funny.
Yeah. When's the next dog whistle coming out?
I'm inking today. I'm just going computer paper size. You're still going big there. Yeah.
Nice.
It's gonna get weird. This 4-pager for this little secret thing we're working on. It's gonna get pretty crazy. I'm having some fun with it. Experimenting. That Tiger Tateshi book was very inspirational.
When's the secret thing gonna get announced?
I vaguely mentioned it. You liked the post. I posted a panel and said there's a secret little thing coming out for short run. I don't know. I think we'll announce it, shortly before short run. We'll wait till it's back from the printers. I think we can show it off a bit, and then we'll say what we're doing with it, where you'll be able to get it, how. It's a weird thing. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a hot thing that you'll want to get as a comics fan, but it's going to be a bit different and difficult. You're not going to have to pay for it, but you are. But you'll find out. More details to come, but it's going to be fucking cool.
Yeah.
Got to wrap that up and then get the zombies covers done. So I'm getting my zombies issue 2 off to print. I've rejigged the whole cover. I'm really happy with what I've. The first cover I was happy with, the one with like Meg staring off into the ocean in the rain. The second issue cover, it was like, it's not. It's like Black Hole was an event. Like every cover of Black Hole is like awesome and a fucking event. So I was like, I need to do something that's upping the ante and something that's good. So I've got a good concept and I'm still bashing it out and posing and sketching, and it's gonna be a good one.
Hell yeah.
I hope I can get it in time for short run, but whatever. In the scheme of things, it will come out when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's someone saying here? Did you like the Last Look books, the Charles Burns ones? I did. The weird Tintin-y ones, the last published American stuff.
Yeah,
I did. Probably not as much as Black Hole. I guess Black Hole really, it's just so human but it was going back to Burns's old stuff in a way of just, like the El Borba stuff and crazy surreal kind of stuff. I love Skin Deep. That's a great set of stories.
I love the Big Baby is a good one.
Yeah, Big Baby's great. Curse the Moment. Didn't I give you a copy of Blood Club, like the color version?
You did, yeah. You did, and Nathan Cowdery. I gave it to Nathan Cowdery to look at, and just like when he stayed over with us, and he bent it.
Fucking Cowdery. Was he drunk?
He denied it as well. He denies it, and he denied it in front of Charles Burns too. He's denied it 3 times, but
It must have been you, Josh. It was you, probably.
I learned in the copy, and he bent the cover.
Yeah, it's a great edition. I have the unbent version, and I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the color version, the colors are interesting in it because they're kind of like not flat. I asked him about that coloring one. Someone else did it, and it was an interesting old school pre-computer system. I was just like baffled, like fucking hell, Charles, that's so complicated. It's like the way Klaus used to do the colors on 8-ball. Like it was a series of numbers. You'd have to like, I want this shade, and you have to number sections, and just like. I love digital printing. I love that I can just paint watercolor on a page and just facsimile print it.
The colors on this one. You have this one?
I think you gave me one. I think you bought me one, didn't you, when you visited?
No. I think Cowdery probably brought you one. From
Cowdery. Bang.
Yeah. But yeah, these like the colors on this and just like the printing. Every drawing on this is just like.
He's so good.
Yeah, there's like just
You may remember him from the Altoids ads. Curiously strong mints. That's what I think. I can't look at Charles Burns' work without thinking of the curiously strong mints.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to have a sip here of my OK soda. Oh. Yeah.
Weird ball sack on a tree.
That's amazing. It's the Klaus can, but yeah, Charles did the OK soda. Didn't draw any ball sacks on the cans.
No. Yeah, I love these. Fucking incredible.
Yeah, it really is one of the finest. Protect that man at all costs.
Love Nest, a remix.
If you try and hurt Charles Burns, I'll fuck you up. That's a promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go through me and Josh first.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, pretty good. I just quickly, I got these David Enos books. We talk about young David Enos on that thing. But yeah, I got Bat-Man is Lost in a Woods. And this is quite good. It's nice, quite Clausian. This seems like an older one from like 2016 or something. And yeah, I don't know. I found it, I feel like I could see a Clausian influence in there, but it's nice stuff. Story was pretty good. Just, surreal, weird, bootleg Batman story. Seemed like losing his mind and looking for his wife. And then, like, in the end, I think he's been, like, divorced for years and he's just essentially losing his fucking mind. But yeah, sexy comic, surreal. Yeah, I quite like it. David Enos. He also sent me a little laugh loft, like a little gags and stuff, little sort of fake New Yorker gags, which is quite amusing as well. But yeah, a young father, a young artist. New book out called Whispered Words that you can pick up from 50 Watts Books. So yeah, check out David Enos. So it's nice stuff.
Yeah, I'll check that one out. It looks good.
Yeah. I think it'd be up your alley, Josh. It's something that I read. Oh, Josh would probably like this. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, good time. Good chat. Good manga chat. Look at that.
Good manga chat. Clock in at 51 minutes.
Wow. Fuck, really? Yeah, I wanted to try and keep this one tight, but we just love talking about comics, don't we, Josh? We're very positive, upbeat guys. We love comics. We love the scene, not the community, the scene.
Yeah.
Scene.
Oh, it's the scene.
Yeah, it's a bunch, it's like saying like the music community and they got all like jazz and black metal and K-pop all hanging out together. It doesn't really work like that. It's lots of disparate little scenes within a larger scene, within a medium. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, it's been a good one. We should fuck off, I suppose. We've got to start getting these guests on. We'll try again next week. Hopefully our guests will be able to make it. And I have a long list of guests.
Yeah.
I very much want to make it like Ink Studs back in the day, Josh, when, like, oh, this cartoon is interesting. I wonder if they have any interviews anywhere, if I could hear their voice. Like, oh, look at Robin McConnell's Ink Studs. He's interviewed everyone and has this massive archive. So, it'd be just good to get some people on, see what they look like, listen to their voices, see what they've got to say, and keep a record of all these exciting young and old cartoonists out there slaving away in their bedsits and trying to entertain the good people.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it. All right. Thanks, motherfuckers. It's been another fantastic manga chat. Let's get the fuck out of here. Hit the bell, like, and subscribe, notifications, all that jazz. Love you, Josh. Love you, buddy. Bye.